Alright guys, so this will be the first video in a series that I'm going to be doing in a complete longer build type thing. It's going to have multiple builds that's going to lead to the end. I think you guys can figure that stuff like that out, how the series works. So in this video, we're going to start off by building a clay pigeon tree. Now if you just said, what is a clay pigeon tree? This might not be the series or the video for you, but I would highly recommend you still hang out because I'm cool with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these little clay pigeons, and you guys thought I was going to have a bird. I know some of you did. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to make basically a tree holder for these, so I can put this out there and then we can pew pew through them. Don't know terminology I'm allowed to use on YouTube to not get demonetized when we're talking about stuff like this, so bear with me on that. So we're going to start off today by making first of all the metal clay pigeon tree. Let's get, wait a minute. And so when I'm doing woodworking, I say let's get dusty. When I'm doing straight metal work, am I really getting dusty? I mean, I get dirty. Let's get sparky! Let me tell you the materials that we're going to use on this build. I apologize for the furnace running. It is 33 degrees in here. Bear with me. I'm bearing with the 33-degree weather. You can bear with the noise. Thank you. So, first thing we're going to use, I have these 3-foot rods here. One of them, this one is 5/16, so we're going to use this to actually stake into the ground and hold it so it doesn't do one of these numbers. And then I have two 3/16 rods that we're going to use, and we're going to cut those and bend them to hold the pigeons onto the tree. Now, I thought about this, and I thought that I could possibly use one of those shepherd's hooks for flower pots and stuff like that. I think that's a way you could go, and I thought about that and just didn't go that way. But what I'm going to use, and before I get hate for this, because I feel like this is not safe to do, I don't recommend doing this. It was just cheap, so that's the way I went. I'm using a 1/2-inch galvanized conduit. I realize it's probably not the safest or the smartest to use. It was $5 for a 10-foot pole. Before I do any of the welding on it, I will at least take off the galvanized coating. I realize it's probably not safe. Probably use something different, but I'm using this. So before anyone comes at me, I understand it. I'm not a metal guy. This is what I'm using. Let's just carry on. First thing I need to do is I need to cut this conduit down. I'm going to cut this into a 5-foot section, 2 1-foot sections, 2 10-inch sections, and 2 8-inch sections. And that's going to take all of the material down. That 5/16 rod, that's going to get cut into a 16-inch section, and then I'm going to cut as many of the holders that I need out of the 3/16 section, and I'm going to cut those at 6 inches. Alright, so what I'm doing with this 3/16 material is I'm taking it, and I have these notches on the vise, so I know about where to go on this. Tighten it up on one side. It's 3/16. It's not very bad. Get about a 90-degree bend in them. Throw it to the other side. Try to make sure that your bend is consistent, so you're bending the same direction to get your 90s on there. That's what I'm doing. And the idea will be then to weld that onto the pipe and then be able to drop and hold your pigeon. That's kind of the plan. So I bent these about an inch-ish, an inch 3/4 to an inch, somewhere in there, and that will give you your spot to hold your pigeon. So I'm going to bend the rest of these up. You want to be done for tonight? Before I weld, you just want to be done? Yeah? You just want me to be done tonight? Yeah? Alright. You want to go inside? You want to go inside and watch TV? You do? You want to go inside and watch TV? Okay, alright. Okay, alright. Well, before I weld this up, I guess I'm going to call this a night right now, and I'm going to go inside. Not my choice. The boss has spoken. Huh. Yep. Oh, thanks for knocking all that over. That was nice of you. Alright, so I'm going to weld all of the arms onto this tree. I just have them at random intervals. I didn't measure anything to them. I start with the smallest ones and work my way down so it looks like a tree. So I'm just going to tack weld all of these in. Alright, so I figured out people don't use conduit because it burns through really, really fast. So I just had to take my time. Welds aren't the greatest, as always. If you watch my channel, you know I'm not really a great welder, but I'm going to take those things that I bent earlier. I'm going to weld them right on to each limb so that it fits right in there. I'm just kidding, I'm going to get a welding glove. I guess just rinse and repeat. So I got this thing all welded up, and again, the welds, I mean, they're not really the prettiest, and I'll show you one of the better ones, but I think it's going to hold pretty fine. I mean, you're going to be firing things at this thing anyway. But now what we're going to do is I need to figure out a way to make this thing stand up. Obviously I can stand it in the ground, but I want to kind of shepherd's hook it thing, and that's where that 5/16, that was hot, that 5/16 bar is going to come into place. Also, well, I grabbed gloves because I did that earlier and that didn't feel good on my fingers. So I'm going to take that 5/16 rod that I got, and I marked on here, right here, where 6 inches is. Remember, this thing is 16 inches long, and I'm going to bend it at about a 90-degree angle, like I did the clip pigeon holders. I'm going to drill a 5/16 hole right in the back side of the tree. Sink this thing through, about right in there. Right. Poke it out just a little bit. I'm going to try to keep this all lined up together, because what it's going to do is both of these will stab into the ground, so you kind of want to keep them together. So now I actually drilled it all the way through. So I can weld onto the other side, just give it a little more stability. So now that the thing is all completely welded up and everything like that, before I clean it up and paint it, I say we go out and we test it. If I could interrupt your video for just a second here, because I already had the video all shot, edited, and ready to be posted when this happened, and I just wanted this disclaimer out there. If you hit the limb, it shakes everything in a bonus mode, and all of the clay pigeons will fall. It is a problem, I guess, but it does happen. I think it would happen with any of the ones that you buy, so whatever. The thing cost me 16 bucks to make. I'll show you right now what happens when you hit one of those things with a 22 round. As you can see, it does do some damage, but ultimately I think A, you're probably not going to hit the limb as often as you think. B, this is also really thin conduit. So this thing cost me 16 bucks to make. I think that it's perfectly fine if I have to replace a limb or if I have to replace the whole thing over time. So that was my quick disclaimer on that. If you want to hit bonus mode, hit the limb, you get all the clay pigeons in one shot. Or if you want them to keep your thing alive a lot longer, just be a better shot. Now back to your regularly scheduled video. And that is going to wrap this one up, this first video of this new series that I'm doing. If you like this kind of content and you're curious about it, make sure that you subscribe so you can follow along as I do the next video. Because if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I only have a BB one, what happens if I shoot the metal? I don't want to shoot my eye out, kid. Well, stay tuned for the next video because I'm going to address that in the next one. I did take a lot of shots that weren't on camera because I'm stupid and didn't hit record. But I wanted to make sure that when I hit down here that I didn't vibrate this one off and vice versa. They all held on really well, so I was really excited about that. Again, if you like this kind of content, make sure you subscribe because this is a new series that I'm doing, and in the final video will be the reveal of everything together. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. One is 5/16. We're going to use that for the part that I'm... Oh, Jesus, mother of Christ! Sorry, puppy! Oh, jeez Louise, you scared me! I stepped on her tail. She didn't like that. I got scared. Okay, let's try this.